Drink Cinema! Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers reviewing iconic movies 2 drinks at a time. Hello, Brett.
Hello, Lou.
How are you?
I am good.
I am Lee. I am host of Two Drink Cinema podcast.
I go down.
We are reviewing Gladiator from the year 2000. A movie that survived Y2K.
It did, luckily. We wouldn't have got Gladiator.
It is an epic, as you and I will both talk about over the course of the next number of minutes. Would you like some taglines?
I'd love a tagline. Wait, can I guess one? Wait, I'm trying to think of...
3 of them.
Yeah, a quote.
2 of them are quotes, and one of them is basically kind of a quote.
Is one, if you liked Spartacus, you already know the story?
No.
Okay.
Actually, let's do the drink first,
Okay, let's do that.
because I need a drink.
This is a Gladiator,
Okay.
and it has in it limoncello.
Something Italian, something
Amaretto.
Roman, Spanish,
Yeah, Southern Comfort,
something Arabic.
lemonade, and orange juice.
They grow a lot of oranges in Spain.
I think he had oranges on his farm, you know, where his wife and kid were murdered.
The Valencia orange is Spanish.
There you go. He's a Spaniard.
He is
So
a Spaniard.
you mix it all up and then you come up with a cocktail that looks like the sand of the Colosseum,
Oh,
which was definitely
clever
intentional.
and definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
My first smell was Southern Comfort.
That's not bad. I like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We'll chuck that on the menu.
Definitely. So, the 2 quotes.
What
That-
we do in life echoes in eternity.
Yes.
A gladiator became more powerful than the Emperor of Rome.
The gladiator who defied an empire. A hero will rise. The general who became a slave, the slave who became a gladiator, the gladiator who defied an empire.
Yep, good.
The other quote, father of a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I shall have my vengeance in this life or the next.
It's not a tagline, it's
No.
just a quote.
The worst tagline, though, if this would have been just on the big poster, Gladiator, Rusty, then it just would have said at the bottom,
July 17.
summer 2000 AD.
Ah! That's funny.
Yeah. So they are the taglines that were around for the Gladiator movie.
Nice.
It is an epic. I had to check because I have it on a disc format.
Yeah, I watched it on DVD.
So I had to check because it asked me if I wanted to watch the director's cut or the theatrical edition.
Yeah.
So I went to Netflix to check what was on there in case you were going to watch it on there and we watched the same thing. Did you get a choice on your DVD?
I did, I think. Pretty sure I watched the theatrical version.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So we've both watched the same thing.
With the sex scene in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is very good. So, themes of democracy and loyalty and freedom, big things, very big comments on democracy in the early 21st century. When we look at
Yep.
corruption, quotes like, the mob, entertain the mob and you can do whatever you like.
Win the crowd, you'll win your freedom.
Corrupt senators, all of that stuff. But the story actually had a lot of work happen. It went through a few rewrites.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
David Franzoni wrote the first draft. After he had a 3-picture deal with Universal after the success of Armistead.
Right. Okay.
So he had a couple more to write, and he wrote this based on a book called Those About to Die by Daniel P. Mannix. That's about the lives of the gladiators. After the movie was successful, Daniel P. Mannix changed the title to The Way of the Gladiator. So definitely didn't hurt his book sales. Once Ridley Scott was brought on, though, he found, this is very interesting, he found Franzoni's dialogue too on the nose.
On the nose,
Which,
okay.
if you watch the movie, the whole movie is like every line is a line.
Yeah, that's what I found. It's like, it's either crap dialogue or it's, wow, that's a good line.
I wrote in my notes, it's a very scripted script.
Yes.
Like, there's no just general dialogue.
Yeah, I feel like when he wrote it, he goes, oh, that's a really good line. How do I get there?
So, yeah, in what ended up as being the script, it's very heavy work in terms of dialogue.
Yep.
Then Ridley Scott brought in John Logan, not Wolverine,
Right, because I
and
knew his name.
changed it from the Gladiator. So the Gladiator originally also was named Narcissus, who was the actual gladiator that killed Commodus.
Oh, like real life.
Yeah. And at the end of the
Okay.
first version, Narcissus kills Commodus and then sails off into the sunset with his family.
Oh, right.
John Logan changed it to the family being killed and the big kind of revenge of the family as well as the revenge for Marcus Aurelius.
Right.
Franzoni they clashed because he was like, the family needs to be in the story.
Yep.
But then he realised that like actually the family being murdered is another big part of making the story. Franzoni, the original, had Maximus killing Commodus beneath the Colosseum instead of in front of everyone, which I think that's a big difference.
That is a much bigger difference.
Killing it in front of the crowd and then Russell Crowe saying, Senate, up to you, I'm leaving, is kind of what this whole movie leads up to. The idea of him was to be the protector of Rome and to give the power back to the Senate and therefore hopefully the people. Then William Nicholson was brought in to do some rewrites closer to and throughout production, and he added all of the stuff about Maximus wanting to get into the afterlife. So added a lot of depth there. Then
Oh, Jesus.
Russell Crowe had something to say apparently about every bit of the script.
Oh, God.
One of the really iconic lines he just refused to say.
Oh.
And I didn't write it in my notes. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, the line, I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. Rusty didn't like it.
Okay.
So Ridley Scott had himself.
It's unlike him.
Yeah. Ridley Scott had himself and 3 writers, all established writers, and Russell.
And Ridley Scott. Yeah.
And Ridley Scott had to kind of manage all of that
God.
and managed to do it. In Rusty's defense, though, apparently when they started production, they only had 30 pages of finished script. So it could have been quite tense for Rusty.
Interesting.
But then storytelling as well. Ridley Scott does visual storytelling and non-dialogue storytelling really well, I think.
Yeah.
So from the start, the Romans are clearly more advanced than the Germanian fighters.
Barbarians, yeah.
Because they've got their lines, they've got their equipment, and then the Germanians just kind of run in. The bosses are there at the start, which tells us that it's a big battle, which then tells us that Maximus is a big general.
Yeah.
So without anybody saying, this guy's a top guy, we're like, well, they're on a hill, a couple of hills back. They're important. This battle is important. This man is important.
Yeah.
Another thing of that I really liked was when he gets back to his house and the family are killed. We just see the feet hanging. We don't see the bodies, which makes it less brutal, but it allows us also to just focus on Maximus's reaction, which Russell Crowe does really well. And then things like showing the spread of the Roman Empire by having Germania, Spain referenced, Arab areas, shows that this thing is huge, but it all comes back to Rome.
Rome.
So he does that very well.
You know what bits about the movie I don't like?
Sure.
A bit early to be getting into that. Like the little, what am I calling it?
I don't know.
Dream sequency. I'm floating. You know when it's like
The weird
he's
movie
unconscious and he's like
and it kind of
floating and he's in a wheat field. Yeah, I don't like that.
Those bits were weird.
Yep.
I did wonder about those, as good as Ridley Scott is, but it could have been a bit of style of the time.
I think it was a bit, but I don't know. I just didn't. Meh.
Yep. The stuff, the big comment on modern politicians, quotes like, "I doubt they eat so well as you, Gracchus." Like, that's a big thing, how much we pay our politicians. Stuff like leave the people their illusions, control the mob, and you can control Rome. I think it's a really interesting storytelling to take a place that we often consider to be like the birth of democracy. And then modern democracy, and then to be like, hey, they were just as corrupt as we are now. And also, don't forget we're very corrupt now.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the point of all of that.
Yeah.
And the character development is very good, but done in two kind of different ways. I think the way he makes Maximus develop is like key events. This battle, Aurelius asking him to be the protector of Rome, the family dying, him getting enslaved. Yes, thanks, Dumbledore. They're big moments, whereas I don't think Commodus really gets those big moments to character develop. We just get glimpses into what he's actually like.
His character doesn't develop.
Well,
He's just a jealous little bitch the whole movie.
Well, at the start, we see that he's scheming. And I think rather than his character developing, we have another storytelling device of character work, which is more and more of his character is revealed.
Yes.
One of the first things he says is something very scheming to his sister, who has a different accent, and they both have different accents to the father.
Yep.
But we won't go into that because between the three of them, have three different accents, and Russell Crowe, between the one of him, has three different accents.
That's correct.
So that's the first
Are you not
thing.
entertained?
Unleash hell.
Yeah.
We have Commodus saying something, obviously scheming from the start, and then he acts differently with Marcus Aurelius. And then once Marcus Aurelius is out of the picture, he's a little bit more scheming, blah, 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 up to the point where you actually think he could kill his own nephew.
Oh, I thought you were going to say fuck his own sister.
Both. And so bits and pieces are revealed of him. I don't think at the very start we're like, yeah, this is a guy who could kill his nephew.
No,
But-
I think it's just like, oh, he's a little...
Yeah, but then as more and more goes on, and he screams, "Am I not merciful?" to that point, and then
Ad-libbed.
everyone's worried about Lucius being with him. We're like, yeah, he is definitely a guy that could kill his own nephew. And
He ad-libbed that, am I not merciful, yelling.
really?
It wasn't meant to be yelled, but he yelled it.
the acting in this movie,
It's pretty good.
it's pretty good.
Even from the Barbarian Horde. Is that guy? Is he Gracchus?
No, he's just the announcer with the terrible wig.
Yeah, what's his... Oh, God, I've forgotten his name. Cassius.
I had to wonder about the acoustics of the Colosseum.
Oh, amazing.
Like
He was pretty much about as loud as some guy that I was on the train with yesterday. Yeah.
the sound engineering in ancient times.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. God, the Romans were good. What else did they give us?
Instead,
The aqueducts?
these days in our modern Colosseum, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, we get a guy with a microphone still yelling into the microphone.
Oh, yeah, and you get a guy, like, talking, and then you're like, shut up, Jack Rewalt. Dusty doesn't want to be there. It's like, yeah, it's really strange.
No, but always the ground announcers at sports games
Oh, yeah.
yell into a microphone.
Yeah.
I'm like, there is a tens of thousands of dollars sound system in this stadium speaking to the microphone.
Yeah, that's all you need to do, speak into the microphone.
Yeah. And if you're not loud enough, they'll turn the speakers up a bit.
Yeah.
Rather than you yelling, you have to move the microphone away from your mouth, or they have to turn the speakers down because it's distorting. Anyway, that's a little sound engineer rant. Or we just design the MCG with the acoustics of ancient Colosseum. And then you can just talk and everyone will be able to hear you.
It's so bad it's almost like this movie wasn't nominated for or won an Oscar for sound, Lee. It's like...
I don't think it should have, actually, which is what we just said. What else have I got to say about characters? Other than those two main characters, though, there's not a lot of character development. The minor characters are reasonably minor and don't change. Like Gracchus is just corrupt the whole way through.
Yeah.
Lucilla's just scared the whole way through.
Yep. The nephew's a kid.
The nephew's a kid.
Couldn't get Haley Joel Osment.
I was going to say Barrick. I will cheer for you.
for you, Maximus.
They said you were a giant. I
was going to say, right,
Please.
I wrote this note and I'm going to have to work out what I meant. Would it have been better if we didn't know it was Lucius before Maximus meets him?
No.
So, you know, when he goes up to the cage, he's like, are you the one they call the Spartan?
Spaniard.
Spaniard. That's a different movie.
Yep.
It would have been better if we didn't know that was the kid. And then he just walks away. And then later on, when Joaquin Phoenix goes out and talks to him, and then the kid runs out, it's like, oh, fuck, that was the kid.
No, because isn't there a moment where
Actually, no, that's not what I mean.
Russell Crowe realises?
What I mean is...
Russell Crowe doesn't realise.
When Lucius...
Maximus.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Lucius, yeah. Goes up to the cage and talks to Russell Crowe.
Yes.
At that point, we already know who he is.
Yep.
But would it be better if we realised at the same time Maximus realised?
Which wasn't in the arena.
No, it was at the cage
At the
because
end,
he
yeah,
says... And then the person comes out and goes, Master Lucius, yada, yada. And he's like, oh, fuck, that's the kid. That might be my kid. I don't know. They didn't sleep together.
Oh, they might have. One question. There's a lot of talk like they grew up together.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah, I got that
Maximus
as well.
also says that he's never been to Rome. So how do you grow up with the children of a guy that becomes
How do you grow up...
emperor
Yeah, I don't get it.
and not have been to Rome?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand any of that.
Because you couldn't pick by their accents if any of them grew up in Spain,
No.
which is where Maximus is apparently from. Interesting. But overall, the storytelling is great.
Yep.
We get epic themes: democracy, corruption, slavery, freedom, loyalty, and all the one essentially two-man story touches on all of those themes right from the start. The freedom stuff is like when they talk about the barbarians and they say people should know when they're conquered.
People should know when they're conquered.
And then
See, there's a fourth accent.
Maximus says, would you, would I? I'm like, that's the movie.
Oh, yeah, that guy's an asshole.
That's the whole movie,
Yeah.
though. Would you, would I? Like, Maximus is actually conquered. He becomes a slave, but doesn't accept that conquering. In a way, Rome itself is conquered because this new Caesar is doing the corruption and is doing the bad things, but a good senator and Maximus save Rome from that conquering. So that's a big part of the whole thing, that it's set up at the start and it comes through the whole line.
Yep.
And again, at the start, Commodus talks about the corruption of the Senate, which comes through the whole thing.
I think it's a good balance of... It's a very well-made movie,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
But then it has the battles and stuff in it that, this is going to make me sound like a wank, to make it appeal to the everyman. You know what I mean? They just want to go watch an action
Ridley
movie.
Scott has to control the mob.
Exactly.
If you
control
entertain
a mob,
you entertain the mob, you can get away with putting anything in your story.
yeah.
Even almost incest.
Even almost a guy in jeans in the crowd.
Even almost non-consensual incest.
Yeah.
Is where I was
At
worried
least in
that
Game
was
of
gonna
Thrones
go.
it was consensual. Spoiler
Much
alert,
better.
sorry.
If you've gotten to 2024, you've not realised that there's incest in Game of Thrones.
You haven't watched the first episode of Game of Thrones.
You haven't been on the internet for 10 years. Come on. All right. So that's the story and
Yeah.
how well it is told. But before you talk about the impact, I have some questions.
Okay.
Some wonderings.
I in my year 9 English class, we watched this movie and studied it. So, because there was a choice, we could do different types of elective classes.
Yep.
And so, as listeners will know, I don't read. So
You did
I
film.
chose film studies, and this
Good.
was one of the things. So technically, I have studied this film. Yes, it was over 20 years ago, but I can still remember parts of it. So I'm happy, as someone who has analysed this movie, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Some of the meetings we're in, we're not allowed to call them questions. We call them wonderings. Yeah.
Jesus.
So I have
Yep.
some wonderings about this movie.
Yeah.
I wonder if Maximus would have been as successful as a gladiator if the opponents hadn't waited one at a time.
In response to your wondering, yes. No, he wouldn't have been.
He wouldn't have, because there's like 6 gladiators that could have attacked him at once, but they're like, no, we're going to go.
I have a question following up from that.
I'm wondering.
Would he have survived if those tigers didn't also wait?
They calmed down very quickly. I had that in wondering as well.
Because, look, it's been a while since I've seen trained tigers, especially on a football field. But they were very well trained.
They were vicious until they've been trained to be like, oh, the fight's over. Well, we can't eat a human now.
And then they're like, I'm just going to have a nap.
Yeah.
This whole stadium looks like kitty litter. I'll just do a poop.
This one's not a wondering.
Okay.
It's a slight rant.
Yep.
So people have a go at John Williams. Okay?
And by people, do you mean me?
No. I was at a concert, right, where the orchestra was playing Dvorak's Ninth Symphony,
Yep.
which starts with...
Du-du. Yep.
And the guy I was at the concert with was telling someone else who was not a movie person that all John Williams does
All of them.
is rip
That's
off
all
great
he does.
composers.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that Hogwarts, the Harry Potter,
Yeah.
sounds exactly like fucking Bizet. I don't know. Pulled that name out of nowhere.
Yes, there are things of Williams that sound similar to the greats, right? Holst, Jupiter could be part of the Star Wars.
Holst Mars is Gladiator.
That's my other point, right? People ever go at John Williams for either sampling himself or the greats.
Yeah.
The opening, if you watch...
Yeah.
No, if you watch the first battle,
The opening, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Great music, though.
watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yes. Hans.
Same.
Hans. Come on, Hans.
Same.
Hans?
Hans, he's German. Hans. Then the battles in the Colosseum, it's Mars. I
Yeah.
think it's actually even in 5-4.
It's a rip-off.
Yep. So
But that was out in public domain because Holst had been dead for a while.
yeah,
Actually, still, it's good though.
the planets
Did
weren't
play the Gladiator music at some form at school as well.
the planets weren't 100 years old. That not the actual.
Well,
planets.
the planets themselves were many millions of years old.
The composition. No,
Billions?
only
When did
thousands
God
of
make-
years old when God made the planets.
But this is BC.
pre-God. No, it's not pre-God. It's pre-Jesus.
Pre-Jesus.
So the
Yeah.
planets were already made
Yeah, okay.
by God
Yeah.
thousands of years before.
Yeah.
Very forward thinking of God to start the calendar counting down to the birth of his son.
I think it's pretty smart of God.
Very, very
That God
clever.
guy or
Though-
woman.
But the people would have been like, I wonder what we're counting down to.
Yeah. And then somebody's like, it's 1 BC. I want to know what BC is. And then died on December 24th, 1 BC.
It's the same as us all looking forward to Y2K. What happens when it turns to 2000?
Yeah, it's going to be 0 again.
What happens when it goes from 0001 to 0000? Was that 4?
That was 4 zeros. Yeah.
Or would people have just been like, this is how time works?
Yeah, and then they went, and then no, but then there was
They
some
wouldn't have
guy.
realised that it was counting down, like
Yeah.
thinking it was counting down to something. That's
Yeah.
like, this is how time works. But then I suppose there is an end point. Like if you're born in
1 BC.
21 BC,
Yeah.
and you turn 20 in 1 BC, you're like, well, fuck, have I just wasted 20 years of my life?
Yeah, are we going to end at 0 BC?
What happens to me?
Yeah.
And then,
So was Jesus the original Y2K? Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Then you think, oh, I'm turning 21. It's a pretty big year. I'm going to celebrate.
I can
But no,
vote now.
There's this fucking Jesus guy that everyone's celebrating instead.
Yeah, kind of stole my thunder.
Yeah. Can't I just have a party? No, we've got to go to Jesus' birthday.
We have to go and he has to give us a speech.
Yeah.
Blessed are the cheesemakers.
Blessed are the cheesemakers. It's like, yeah, the life of Brian all over again.
He's a pretty selfish guy, that Jesus.
Yeah. Well, he did die for our sins, though.
And then he made everybody go to dinner before he died. Ugh.
Yeah.
And he pay? I don't reckon he paid.
I doubt it. But yeah,
Brutus paid. That's why he wasn't a happy guy.
he did sacrifice himself for our sins. So that's
Yeah.
pretty selfless.
That's why I have to sin, or Jesus died for nothing.
yeah. And then
You're welcome, Jesus.
also unselfish of
Yeah.
Jesus. We get a 4-day weekend
Yeah.
thanks to Jesus.
And chocolate,
yep.
which is
Thank you.
definitely relevant.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. I just think Jesus.
Did they have chocolate in 38 AD?
They did. But and I don't know. Who knows? I got nothing.
I just wonder if Jesus ever got to experience chocolate. And hopefully it was like Lindt or Cadbury. And not the
Nah.
no-name brand
No.
foil that you get from the reject shop.
Nah, he got them. Some camel on the side of the road was just like, do you want some... Because camels could talk. Do you want some not
Want some
good
chocolate?
chocolate? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want this
Yeah,
leftover
he had to
chocolate
banter for it.
that we re-melted from the chocolate Santas to now be chocolate bunnies? It's good at the
So
end of
Gladiator.
this story that Maximus dies.
Yes,
Right?
it is.
Speaking of death, because then there's no room for him to potentially be corrupted.
Yeah.
And it just leaves of like, Senate, do your best. I'm dead.
No more emperors.
No more emperors. And also then he becomes a kind of a martyr.
And Lucius was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be emperor. And now I'm a no one? What am I, Prince Harry?
Prince Harry.
Anyway.
So that's it.
Okay.
I did like that he died at the end, came a bit of a martyr, and it worked out well for Rome,
I was going to ask you
as
about the...
history will tell.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Bechdel test, but only one woman speaks. So next, moving on.
Correct. Even his wife doesn't speak. She just looks
She just
beautifully
dies and
into
gets
the
raped.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least she looks Spanish.
Yeah. Hey, Papa!
The kid, just brutal.
The
Brutal,
kid
just tramples the
the
kid.
kid. You could have gotten out of the way. I'm just anyway.
But the way that they just trample the kid is brutal.
Oh yeah.
What kind of impact did it have?
Yeah. So, it won a few awards, Lee.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt. Don't speak. It won 5 Oscars from 12 nominations. So it won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Effects, Best Sound,
Ooh.
and Best Costume Design.
Yeah.
Because it's old. It was also nominated for Director, Screenplay, Supporting Actor, score, cinematography, art direction, and editing.
That's a lot.
So it's all the big ones, really.
Is that like 11 nominations?
12.
12 and 4 wins.
5 wins.
5 wins.
Still to this day surprised that what's her name didn't get a nom.
The Only Woman.
Yeah.
She's pretty good, actually. They're all pretty good main actors.
You know what it got more nominated in? The BAFTAs.
Oh, really?
14 nominations, Lee.
Woo.
It won for Best Picture, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, and Best Editing. And then it was also nominated for Director, Screenplay, Costume, Music, Makeup and Hair, Sound and Effects, and 2 supporting actors for Joaquin, and because he was British and dead, Oliver Reed.
Oh. Because he was British and dead.
Yeah, they love that.
They do, actually.
And then some Golden Globe ones.
He was
That's
also
fine.
good, though.
Yeah.
Jimon Honsu was good, too.
I'm saying it launched him.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
It was nominated for the AFI Top 100 Movies of All Time. Didn't get a gig. Maximus is number 50 on the AFI Heroes list.
He did save the whole Roman Empire, which was apparently the world at that time.
Yeah. In 2021, Empire Magazine
Nerds.
ranked Gladiator 39th on its 100 Best Movies of All Time list.
That's a bit high.
Very high.
Very high.
And declared it's the 22nd best film of the 21st century.
What, of the 20 years that they have had of the 21st century?
Yeah, so in the same year that it was the 39th of all time, it was the 22nd of the 21st century. So does that mean the other 38 places of the 100 best are made up of 21 movies from the 21st century? That was maths. Now you look like that meme, that woman with the meme.
Yeah. So there are 21 better movies from the 21st century than Gladiator.
Yeah.
So those 21 have to be in the top 39 of the AFI of all time.
Yeah.
Let's go through the list. No, let's not. It's going to take way too long.
And then Empire also placed Maximus 95th on its list of 100 greatest movie characters.
Oh, just characters?
Just characters.
No, there are 100.
Do you reckon there's 100 better characters than Maximus Decimus Meridius?
Yep.
That's how you have to say it. If you say his full name, you have to say it like that.
Maximus Decimus Meridius,
Um,
commander of the armies of the North. It's not a bad impersonation.
it's pretty good.
Just saying.
Are you Jean Valjean? Cultural impact, it grossed $465.4 million.
It's a lot of money in 2000.
And was the second highest grossing movie of the 2000.
Phantom Menace.
No,
Oh, that was 99.
that was 99.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 2.
Oh, that's a good movie.
They're doing a sequel
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah. Ridley's old.
Ridley's old.
Yeah.
Lee, you will be happy to know that this was referenced in an episode of Family Guy.
I'm very happy to know that.
So there was an episode called Sibling Rivalry where Lois and Peter want to have another kid.
Yep.
Stewie doesn't want that.
Of course not.
So Stewie goes back in time or into Peter's sperm. I can't remember which. And then he has the kid, and then he goes back in time to kill the kid, anyway.
Yep.
And they do a battle. And then at the start of the battle, Stewie says, "At my signal, unleash hell." There you go. You know what you love? Alternate castings.
Oh, yeah. We need to bring this back.
Before Russell Crowe was cast, several other actors were considered.
Who else would I have had? You could have had someone that's probably going to be, that is in Gladiator 2. Denzel.
Yeah, he would have been good.
Yeah, he would have been good. But unfortunately, you didn't have to have black people in movies in 2000. So Denzel would have had no chance.
Digimon?
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
I looked on the Google
What
Cast before I
about-
almost couldn't find Jimon Honsu.
What about Antonio Banderas?
Actually would have made sense for the Spaniard.
He's not Spanish. Is he Spanish? Yeah,
Doesn't
he's
matter.
Spanish.
He's more Spanish than Russell. He speaks Spanish, regardless of that's very reductive.
Yeah, I know.
Regardless of where he's from, he speaks Spanish, but he speaks more Spanish than the guy who ended up playing the Spaniard.
Mel Gibson.
Could work.
Tom Cruise.
No. You can't have Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 2 and Gladiator in the same year. He's not Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Chris Pratt's in everything at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Thank you for explaining that.
You didn't laugh.
Maybe because it wasn't funny. Jude Law auditioned for Commodus, but Joaquin was better. That's what they said. That's basically all it says.
Correct.
And somebody else auditioned for Lucilla. It would have been terrible, Lee. It would have been terrible.
Britney Spears.
Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, also more Spanish than Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's about it, really. I think it's got reference in pop culture a lot. Are you not on My Signal Unleash Hell? Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
That gets referenced a bit.
There's a guy named Mark at the baseball club that we've nicknamed Marcus Aurelius.
What does he talk like this?
No, he's not anything like Dumbledore.
Okay.
So the sequel to Gladiator,
Yeah.
it's coming up this year. It's been written by David Scarpa.
Okay.
A sequel to Gladiator was discussed as early as June 2001, with David Franzoni and John Logan set to return as screenwriters. Scott did little updates occasionally, including the possible involvement of original film's lead actor Russell Crowe and plot ideas around the Roman afterlife and different historical time periods. Didn't go ahead. DreamWorks sold the rights to the property to Paramount in 2006.
Ooh.
The film was finally announced in 2018. Paul Mescal was hired in the lead role in January 2023 with a script by Scarpa. The rest of the cast signed on over the next several months. Paul Mescal plays Lucius, the former heir to the Empire.
Oh.
So it could be a bit of like, what the fuck, I could have been emperor. I'm going to come back.
But he's going to be a gladiator.
Ridley Scott mentions that since he was last seen approximately 15 years ago, Lucius has been living in the wilderness with no connection with his mother, who now thinks he might be dead. Denzel Washington plays a former slave turned wealthy merchant with a grudge against the emperors. Pedro Pascal, of course, as a former military commander forced to fight as a gladiator in punishment for his insubordination. Connie Nielsen's back as Lucilla.
Cool.
Derek Jacobi
He's back.
as Senator Gracchus.
Cool.
Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things
Oh.
as co-emperor.
Co-emperor.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As Karasala, I'm going to assume. Despite comparisons with Joaquin Phoenix Commodus from the first film, Quinn... No, that's irrelevant. So...
I'm going to say
It
this.
looks like...
right?
I reckon Lucius comes back,
And he needs to get a ragtag bunch of gladiators.
meets up with Pedro,
Yeah.
is funded by Denzel,
Uh-huh.
and the three of them fight Joseph Quinn and co-emperor Geta by Fred Hetchinger. Matt
Okay.
Lucas?
Matt Lucas.
Matt Lucas.
Little Britain.
Yes.
Interesting. What does James Corden play?
Oh, God.
That's weird.
In April 2021, Chris Hemsworth approached Russell Crowe with a proposal to become involved with the project with the intention to co-produce the film.
I would have... Yeah, that's not bad.
While working together on Thor Love and Thunder, the two actors shared additional ideas for the film.
Interesting. I'm going to say...
It's a decent cast.
I'm going to say it will get a lot of money at the box office.
I don't think it will.
You don't think Gladiator 2 will make money?
Mad Max Furiosa bombed. Mad Max Furiosa's
wanna
only
watch that,
taken
though.
like $50 million. Yeah.
But that's about a woman, so people don't
Oh,
watch that.
okay,
This is
yeah,
about
yeah,
a man, and it's got Pedro Pascal in it, so people go and see it.
And Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Denzel. What a
And so
career.
people will go and see it, but I think it's going to be bad.
I don't think it'll be as good.
I feel it'll be bad. I think it's going to be bad. That's my comment on that.
Do not ever do not think I've ever seen this Fred Hetching a guy in my life.
Great.
Wikipedia doesn't even know what year he was born.
Maybe he's never done anything before.
1998 or 1999 in New York. He's been in a few things. You know those Fear Street movies that were on Netflix based on the R.L. Stine books?
Goosebumps.
Fear Street.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Should we do some awards?
I think we should.
All right. This is the Andy Millman from Ricky Gervais's Extras Worst Extra Award. One I noticed early.
Yeah.
After the first battle, it's snowing, they're at camp.
He's going around
Maximus
like,
is
good job,
walking
mate.
around, good
Loved
job,
that
good job, good
arrow.
job, right?
Yeah.
He walks up to two people. Then there's a pause. The guys stand up. Then he tells them to sit down.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, you should have stood up straight away. Bad extras.
Okay. I actually wrote his kid
For not getting out of
for
the way.
not getting out of the way.
horses.
Yeah.
Oh, harsh.
Like, you've got time to get out of the way, kid. And it's by here to there.
Horses are fast.
Yeah, but from here to there, you know it's not your dad and he's not slowing down. So get the fuck out of the way. Even if it is your dad, he's not slowing down, kid.
You can jump in the trees.
Yeah, just jump in the trees.
And the horses can't turn because the trees are there.
Yeah.
Potentially growing oranges. Or lemons.
Lemons, yeah.
Or
amaretto.
almonds.
In the south, where they're comfortable. Yep.
Okay. The gladiator that has the spiked hair, did they have hair gel in 180
Apparently so.
BC?
Yep, they
AD.
did.
BC.
BC.
This movie's in AD.
Oh, yeah, is it?
Yeah, because that's what I wrote in my notes. I'm sure, actually, it's set in AD. Anyway.
I wrote, in the first fight, at a you know, not like the Colosseum, but the lead-up tournaments.
Oh, in the
Like the first fight he does with as a slavey gladiator.
the one that's like at Mars Stadium in Ballarat before he gets to the MCG.
Yeah. Next to Proximo.
Or Proximo.
In Proximo's proximity,
But Rusty says Proximo,
yeah,
and everyone else says Proximo.
Rusty says Proximo.
Yeah.
There's a woman sitting next to him, and she just looks like she's gonna vomit. Like she's just like,
Oh, really?
Ooh. I'm like, what were you expecting?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
It's like, I read a headline, fans are outraged over an X-rated scene in the new season of The Boys. Like, it's season 5.
Yeah. Haven't you seen any of it?
I haven't seen other than season 1 of The Boys, but, like, didn't last season a guy, like, explode from within someone's dick?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Like, shit is weird in
Yeah.
The Boys show.
Yeah.
I nominated... This is a nomination of a lot of people.
Okay.
And it's actually something that annoys me in sports scenes. I may have mentioned it in Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Anybody standing in a crowd that is just doing this.
Yes.
I've been to a lot of sporting events.
Yeah.
And no one just stands there and pumps both arms in the air.
No.
You might stand up, do a bit of a two-handed
I don't
shake.
think I've ever done that at a sporting event.
You're all winners,
Yeah.
like in Seinfeld.
Yeah.
But you don't just stand there for the whole 30 seconds that the gladiators are coming out, arms up and down.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to the gym this morning. That hurt.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Everyone in the crowd at the Coliseum,
great.
basically.
Yeah. My last nomination for worst extra is Cassius's wigs. Especially like the Shirley Temple one.
I think they're meant to be bad.
Yeah, but they're still bad.
Okay. I don't know then. Who wins that one?
I think, well, I'm not going to give it to the kid. I think the ones they
The
said
kid that
stand
died.
up and they're like, no, sit down.
Yeah, those guys
Yeah.
at the start. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fine.
The Estelle Reiner, I'll have what she's having, best extra award. The this one. In the first German fight, there's a German who is fully on fire
Yes.
and then gets a full spear through his
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah. I wrote,
Like, You poor guy.
I wrote Barbarian on fire.
Yep. Well
Yeah.
done, mate. Because he's on fire, acting like he's on fire, and then gets a full spear through the chest. That's commitment.
I also said head barbarian at the start, you know. And he's got that guy's head.
Oh, yeah. I wrote the African. I can't remember why I have it in quote marks.
Yeah.
The African extra gladiator that gets chopped in half
Oh, okay.
in the first Colosseum fight.
Right.
I think there's a guy that literally...
No, because it's
yeah,
when
yeah.
they're riding the thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a blade on the wheel. And then
Yes.
he's like,
He's there kneeling, and then he just goes up and goes, ah! And then
yeah.
gets chopped in half. Yeah, him.
I wrote from that same scene, I think, the female archer with the boob breastplate.
Yeah. It's a very
She's
buxom breast guard.
And then I wrote, I don't know which one it's before, which battle we fight thing, but the guy that pisses himself.
Oh, is he the spiked hair one?
I don't know.
He could be. He's been nominated for Best and Worst Extra.
Because he's funny. He pisses himself and then they're like...
My last one was Centurion's Master, Senator Gracchus's manservant. And I'm going to put manservant
Yes.
in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Gracchus is just there working. And then he comes in and goes, Centurion's Master. And then walks out.
That's good.
I'm like,
Best or worst?
okay, manservant.
And then he goes like Plan 9 from Outer Space. Barbarian on fire, we both said.
We did both say, but I do like the guy that gets cut in half.
Yeah.
The Guy on Fire.
Guy on fire.
Yep. Man on Fire is a Denzel Washington movie.
Well,
There's 6
Barbarian
degrees.
on fire is a great name for a band. Just put it out there.
There's
Anybody
a-
that does death metal.
Okay. The Halle Berry X-Men, Struck by Lightning, Worst Line Award. I didn't have anything.
I had two, and they're
I'm
from
sure
the same scene.
I knew you would have something, but I was too busy obsessed with the fact that it was such a heavy script. Almost too heavy in parts.
Yeah. I had it's all the same scene, but there's two separate lines, and then it's after he does the whole.
Yep.
And then Joaquin goes back to Lucilla, and he's like, "Why is he alive?" Like
Yeah.
she doesn't know.
You ordered
You
the guys.
ordered it, and it's not like she set him free. Although that might be his thinking, so that's fine. And then she's like, "I don't know," in Swedish. And then he goes, something, he goes, "That vexes me. I'm terribly vexed."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, how vexed are you?
All right, Elaine.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. I am without speech.
That vexes me. I'm terribly vexed.
She's Danish.
Yeah, I know.
Vexed.
Yeah.
Yes. Because
yeah.
it's a bad line. Like, it's bad character. It's bad thoughts by Commodus to ask Lucilla why he's alive. But it's bad writing by any of the 3 writers for him to say, I'm vexed. It has vexed me. I am vexed.
I am terribly, terribly vexed. Yeah.
Worst line. I am terribly vexed.
Because that was late in the movie, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get a worse line. And then he said that, I'm like, that's, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. The
Did you cry? No.
the Darth Vader, I am your father, most iconic scene. I have 3 nominations.
Ooh, I have 2.
I firstly wrote down, Are You Not Entertained?
I did write, Are You Not Entertained?
It is in the trailer. Are You Not Entertained? I also wrote the one-on-one fight with the tigers.
Yeah.
That whole fight is pretty epic.
Yep.
And I also had, my name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
I did also have My Name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Yes. Did you have anything else?
No.
All right. Then it is,
It's My Name is Maximus Decimus
my name
Meridius.
is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
General to the Legions of the North.
General to the legions of the North. Loyal to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius. Husband to a murdered wife. Father to a murdered son, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
In this life or the next. The Pope's Exorcist, Russell Crowe. All right, top 5.
Is that it? Nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's the awards. Good. The top 5. This week we're doing the top 5 most epic opening scenes / sequences.
Yes.
I bordered on epic / best.
I went kind of epic / best / iconic.
I thought about just best, but then from the list of best that I have, I picked the ones that are epic.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
I've kind of done that. Let's see how we go.
Okay.
FYI, Gladiator only gets an honourable mention.
Also.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
My number 5.
Uh-huh.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
The booby traps.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the gold thing in the sand, and then the rolling ball.
See, for me, only got an honourable mention.
That's okay.
Which it might be surprising.
We're allowed to
considering
disagree.
some people will be surprised by my number 5, which I've given more in terms of iconicness.
You can add to our list or question our list
Yeah.
in our Two Drink Cinema Facebook group if you would like to.
Scream.
Honourable mention.
Okay.
I thought very good.
I thought, you know what? I said I did it because it's iconic. And now I'm like, Brett, I don't think that's more iconic than Raiders.
I also think you're probably also thinking of the opening of Scary Movie.
No.
And combining the enjoyment of the both.
It's the one where the baddie stabs her in the boob and the breast implant comes out.
that one.
That's Drew Barrymore.
Yes. It is epic. It is iconic in that it kind of, without movie nerding, Wes Craven relaunching the slasher genre.
Because everybody thought that Drew Barrymore would last the end. She dies at the start.
Yeah, and
I haven't even seen the movie.
Final girl. My number 4, animated.
Oh, okay. Okay. I reckon
It's
we
an
might
epic
have.
song.
I reckon we might also almost have the same next 4, but in different orders.
Okay, well that was my 4.
Okay.
The Lion King.
My number 4 is The Matrix.
Okay. Should I say something about The Matrix?
No.
Or say my number 3?
Well, my number 3 is The Lion King.
My number 3 is Star Wars. A New Hope.
Okay.
Because
Does not get a mention on mine.
the Super Star Destroyer comes, that's huge. I can imagine in 1977,
Yeah.
the last sci-fi movie you saw was a B-grade one that you saw midnight at your local shitty theatre.
Yeah.
If you've gone to see Star Wars and it's full big screen, you get John Williams' arguably best introduction music of all time. And then this Super Star Destroyer comes over the top of you.
Okay.
Epic. Your number 2? Or my number 2? Your number 3 is The Lion King.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Your number 2?
My number 2 is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
Brutal epicness.
Did come up in my research, but I haven't seen it.
Where's that list of movies?
My number 2, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Because you can argue that it's just Kate
It's narration.
Blanchett, but she narrates over an epic battles.
That's badly.
No, there's an epic battle in there. There's a whole thing. You actually get introduced to all of the key elements of the plot and the key players race-wise within the plot. Elves, humans, dwarves, and then hobbits come. And you get Gollum, you get the forging of the ring, you get the huge battle that led to the ring getting supposedly destroyed but found by Gollum.
Yeah, and then you have to then watch 27 hours more of the movie.
Oh, I'm not picking the best movie that has a great opening. That's an epic opening on its own.
I know we can have different opinions, but that one's wrong. That's fine.
Okay.
Before we do number ones, I'll shout out my couple of other honourable mentions.
Please do.
So Raiders and Gladiator, we've already said.
Yep.
One movie that we've reviewed recently, Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's very good. I don't know if it's epic enough
Okay.
in terms of scale.
Yeah.
Do you have any other honourables?
Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards. Again, very tense. So tense in the house. And, like, Christoph Waltz just was like, who's this guy that's in this Tarantino movie coming up? And then you're like, oh, this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's going to play everything like this for the next 10 years, and we're going to love every minute of it.
Yes.
And I had Jurassic Park. Then they first try to get that raptor out of the cage.
Shooter! Yeah.
If we were doing top 5 most epic close-ups of teeth,
Oh.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Great.
Shooter! My number one, or your number one? Who wants to go first?
Should we say it at the same time?
Well, they're different.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because sure?
My number one.
Yours is The Matrix.
Mine's The Matrix. Because it's epic in terms of its setting up the story. It has, in terms of storytelling as well, it has so many questions. Who are these agents? Why can she jump and run and fight like that?
Who is this woman? We haven't seen her before on screen.
And it's just like, what the fuck is this movie? It's the Wachowskis just went, we've invented this world, and instead of introducing you to Neo, to Mr. Anderson,
Yeah.
we're just going to be like, this is what you're going to spend the next 2 hours watching, and this is why you're going to love this movie. And they nail it.
Okay.
It's like Spielberg going, fuck it. Let's just put the T-Rex in the first minute of Jurassic Park and then work back from there.
Interesting.
And she looks fucking good in that
Yeah.
rubber leather, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your number one?
Jaws.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That came close to my list.
Spielberg Williams has got a bit of a run in these, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Jaws, because we're like, oh, what the fuck's going on there?
Shot super well in terms of suspense and really, sets it up as this thriller thing. A bit like Scream, in that we open with a brutal death and then the suspense comes from when the next time this shark is going to kill.
Yes.
Not that I'm saying Jaws in 1978 was inspired by Scream in the 90s. It's probably the other way around. But in terms of horror, that's a very common horror opening as well. And I think Scream and Jaws are right up there in terms of nailing how to open a horror film like that.
Yes.
You know, another one that came up on my list was that opening chase from Vertigo.
Opening chase from Vertigo. Oh, yeah, because that's how he gets Vertigo.
All across the rooftops, and then he almost falls, and that's how he gets Vertigo. And then his ex-girlfriend may not be his ex-girlfriend, but they look the same.
One that came up on my list, but I don't know if its opening scene was Up.
Oh, cry. Epic emotions.
Yeah.
Pixar do that really well.
They do that. I can't wait. I'm scared Inside Out 2 is going to be bad.
Could be. Maya Hawke recently was like, yeah, I'm a Nepo baby.
Good.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
She's like, I know I've gotten advantages, but I also know I'm working fucking hard.
It's not like Ben Platt that was like, I don't like that term, and then later was like, no, that's me. I'm okay with it now.
Yeah. Yeah, Maya Hawke's just like, I know, I know who my parents are.
Yeah.
And I know I've been around this my whole life. But she also did say in the interview...
But I also know that I'm a better actor than both of them.
Yeah. But also, she's also like, I'm working hard. Like, I've auditioned and screen tested for stuff. It's not like the brothers...
It's not like Jamie Lee Curtis just got the job because she was Janet Leigh's daughter.
It's not like the Duffer brothers were just like, we want Ethan Hawke's daughter. Let's put her in. Like, I'm sure she went through a process to get onto Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Now, listeners, long-time listeners will be thinking, Gee, it's been a while since these boys changed their format.
It's been at least 6 months.
So, from July, things are going to be a little bit different. Next week, Red, White and Royal Blue will be our second Rainbow Popcorn.
Yeah.
Rainbow Popcorn is going
Rainbow Pumpkin.
continue going forward once a month. And we are continuing to review iconic movies. But we're going to do a couple of different things as well in the month. So, question that we didn't decide when we had our production meeting, are we still rolling the dice or are we just going to say what's next?
I'd like to keep rolling the dice.
Okay, roll the dice.
Mainly because I've got it up on my screen now.
Right.
Ready?
Roll the dice.
Roll.
Give us some clues. I'll guess it. And then we need to do a 6 degrees of Batman's butler.
Okay. This movie is the second best movie Cameron Diaz has made in her career.
Oh. Charlie's Angels.
No.
Is that the best?
This movie is...
Shallow Hell. Oh, no, it's Gwyneth.
This movie is one of those movies where the sequel is better than the original.
Oh. That doesn't help me either. Charlie's Angels 2 is not better than Charlie's Angels 1. What else has Cameron Diaz done?
You can't see her.
Oh, so it's animated.
Yeah.
Okay. Animated, had
Cameron
sequels.
Diaz. Sequel's better than the original.
Sequel's better than the original.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Scrolling. Shrek.
Thank you. Far out.
It's like Cameron Diaz. And then I got to Prince Charming, but then I couldn't remember if Prince Charming was in the first one or the second one.
It's the second one, because Shrek 2 is better than Shrek. Putting it out there.
Is that Holding Out for a Hero?
Yeah, with Jennifer Saunders.
Jennifer Saunders. And John Cleese plays the king?
Yeah, and Julie Andrews is the queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Jennifer Saunders is like the fairy godmother?
Yes.
Okay. But that's not what we're reviewing.
No, we're doing Shrek 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Shrek 1. All right. So we need a... Shall we introduce our new version of 6 Degrees?
Yes.
In listening to recent episodes, despite us reviewing 7 Robin Williams movies, the most mentioned actor on the podcast has been Michael Gough, who plays Batman's butler through the 90s. So now we are just doing 6 Degrees of Michael Gough.
6 Degrees of Alfred the Butler. Yep.
Do we need to... So we need to join the 2 movies and Batman's butler needs to be somewhere in there.
Is that what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah?
I thought we were just naming it like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Or we can do Shrek to Michael Gough.
Oh, okay.
Or we do Gladiator to Shrek via Michael Gough.
Maybe we do that.
Let's try that.
That's going to be pretty hard when we do older movies.
But he's old.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything that he's been in.
I've only
than
seen him
Batman.
in 4 movies.
But yeah, there are old people in that movie too. Jack Palance, he's old.
That's true.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. So we need to get from Russell Crowe or Joaquin Phoenix through Michael Gough to Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz.
John Lithgow.
Oh, John Lithgow.
Yeah, he's fuckwad. I mean, Farquaad. Sorry.
Oh, that's a good cast. All right. So, Michael Gough. We've got Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Michelle Pfeiffer, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Chris O'Donnell, Claire Danes, Uma Thurman. Can any of those get us either way? I feel like we're starting in the middle.
Yeah,
of the
starting
6
in the middle.
degrees.
Yeah.
We got to go 2 ways. So you go from Michael Gough to Shrek, and I'll go from Michael Gough to Gladiator.
Okay.
And we'll divide and conquer it. Michael Gough.
Is there some connection to
Russell
saying
Crowe.
that, like,
All right, Russell
Mike
Crowe,
Myers? Wait, how did I get to George Clooney from
Hugh
that?
Jackman. George Clooney plays Batman.
No, I went Mike Myers to
Mike Myers
Michael
to George
Caine.
Clooney.
who's also plays Alfred the Butler.
That's true. Russell Crowe, Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, who is also in a Batman movie.
With We've done this without needing to do it. So we've done, if you go Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway,
Yeah.
Michael Caine, Mike Myers,
What have Michael Caine and Mike Myers been in together?
Austin Powers Goldmember.
Oh, yeah.
So we've done it, but we haven't used the
Right.
other Alfred
So
the
that's
Butler.
a normal 6
That's a
degrees
normal
of
6
separation.
degrees. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have to do the 6 degrees of Michael Gough. Right. So George Clooney.
Oh, wait. Did I? Oh,
George Clooney has.
Mike Myers is
Brad
in
Pitt,
Inglourious
Matt
Bastards
Damon.
with Brad Pitt,
Yep.
who's in Ocean's 11 with George Clooney,
Who's in
who's in Batman and Robin.
and Robin with Michael Gough.
Yep.
So that's a 6 degrees from there to there.
Now we have to get.
Michael Gough to Russell Crowe.
Yep.
Or Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep. Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, Jim Carrey. Russell Crowe.
Nicole Kidman.
Elle Macpherson.
Wait. Have Russell Crowe and Nicole
Russell
Kidman done a
Crowe.
movie?
Russell Crowe. Hugh Jackman. Les Mis. Hugh Jackman. Nicole. Australia.
Yeah.
Nicole. Michael Gough.
Yeah. That's more than 6, I think. But
Yeah. We've done 2 lots of 6 degrees of Batman's Butler.
Have Russell Crowe and Nicole Kidman done a movie
Surely
together?
they have.
I have to Google it.
Nicole Kidman news. They're making a sequel of Practical Magic.
Yeah.
Interesting. We might talk about that next week. No, we won't. In 2 weeks' time. Next week, we're reviewing Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Russell Crowe and Nicole Kidman done a movie together. They were in Boy Erased.
Oh, okay. Nicole Kidman? Well, or Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman in Happy Feet,
Yeah.
which also had Elijah Wood in it
Great.
and Robin Williams.
There you go.
That was a good cast. Happy
And
Feet.
Brittany Murphy, R.I.P.
Ah, rip. Varley. Is that it?
That's it.
If you've got a better 6 degrees of Batman's Butler or 6 degrees of separation to do with Shrek and Gladiator, then jump into the Two Drink Cinema Facebook group and let us know. Next week, Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yeah.
Then the week after, something different.
Something different.
And then Shrek.
Okay, great.
All right.
Now you know our schedule, everyone.
Follow us on the socials at 2 out of 3 recommend. And no, that's not right.
No, that's not right either.
Follow us on the socials at 2 out of 3 brothers.
Yep.
Subscribe to the podcast, and we will be back next week. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Lee. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Two Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast, either leave a tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review, and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.